moment is a new one called hashtag My7Sins, MySevenSins, hashtag to join the conversation, and also hashtag GUDVYBZ. We're going to be covering reactions to the seven sins according to the Christian faith, and basically the meanings of this. Any of your questions are welcome after this live. You comment below and we'll respond to them, and we welcome your thoughts and your experiences. So the format is to share your experience and your thoughts or your first thoughts in relation to each of the seven sins, which is we'll go into shortly. So yeah, comment below, join the conversation. Without further ado, welcome to Alex, who's the host of Advice with Alex and Friends. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm all right, thank you very much.
That's good.
What's called Alex is going to tell us about herself, and we're going to launch into it. She, like myself, we haven't thought too much about this. We're just going to go with our reactions after the definitions. Alex, tell us about yourself and the podcast, please.
So I have a podcast called Advice with Alex and Friends, the podcast. It comes out every Sunday, although it's on a short hiatus at the moment. But there's loads and loads of episodes to catch up with. Um, I also had Olive Aleakwe on my podcast as well. She was amazing. She gave lots and lots of insight into, broadcasting in the industry, and we talked about culture, particularly African culture as well. So that was a great episode. So I enjoy podcasting, and I'm really happy that I was able to be joined by you. And yeah, I'm happy to return the favor and be on the show.
It was so much fun. Right, we're going to get into it. My seven sins. So the first one is envy.
Yes.
And according to BibleInfo.com, me being non-religious, it was interesting to read this. So envy, it says the intense desire to have an item that someone else possesses. Kindness cures envy by placing the desire to help others above the need to supersede them. Envy is rottenness to the bone. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's envy. Society doesn't help, does it? Because it puts so many things in your face that you would want. So I don't know, you could envy, like for me personally, I don't think so much these days, but before, I used to be envious of certain body types, thinking, oh my gosh, why don't I have a body like that, and it would like perpetually be like shown in your face all the time on Instagram. But yeah, you kind of have to say, and I guess kindness in this sense would be kindness to yourself and saying, look, you need to appreciate what you have and work with what you have,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to longing for something that somebody else has or somebody else paid for. But okay.
That I never thought of that actually. When I first thought it, what did I write down here? I've never felt this sin. It's a
Oh,
weird
that's
thing.
good.
I mean,
That's
I might
good.
and
That is good.
it's the first thing that came to mind was I always wanted to live in a tree house, like indigenous people who can build and live off the
That
land.
is not a
And you
bad
know
thing to
those tropical
envy.
islands. That is, and it's just like, but I've never, not an intense desire. Maybe that's just a want, but intense
Yeah.
desire. So let me just,
Or maybe
so basically I
jealousy.
put, mm,
Maybe just jealous, which
God, it's
which is
such a,
common. It's common to be jealous, actually. Maybe mine was an envy as well, because I feel like when you're
yeah,
envious, you almost wish bad on that person as well that has what you want. Whereas I've
yeah,
never
and you
done
don't
that.
feel, I don't feel that.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go, there you go. The things that came to my mind were, um, I've never felt this sin because I've always been provided for. You know, I
Oh,
don't do this watchy business.
that's true. That's true.
I've observed people, you know, when you observe people copy the actions of others.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you bring something, or they're copying what you're wearing, or they're like, "Where's that from?" And then that kind of stuff is. and I wonder whether that's just mimicking or, but it's just the ones that harbor resentment. I think maybe that's what it means. But it's very
Yeah.
alien to me, this feeling. But I suppose envy would be, in terms of observation outside of ourselves, envy would be that kind of coveting, like you said, wanting what someone else has. It's usually materialistic, like you said, about societal pressure as well. And that kind of like, even I think the worst thing for me, the most disturbing things I've observed in society in a wider context is maybe a resentment that a parent might show affection to one sibling
Oh
more than
yeah.
another,
Yeah,
whether
yeah.
it's perceived as real or not, or whether, a parent jealousing the child, the
Mhm.
love of the father to the
Mhm.
daughter, the son,
Mhm.
or the mother to the daughter, or the son. That kind of thing I've observed,
Yeah.
and it's that I think is a dangerous thing. I don't know too much about what's in the Bible, but
Mhm.
I'm thinking that must have come into play
Yeah, yeah. Or
way back when and now.
yeah, or one of the sins is not one of the sins, one of the commandments, isn't it? Thou shalt not covet their neighbor's wife. That's quite common as well, for people to envy.
There's that.
Yeah, to envy
Hmm.
somebody else's partner as well. Yeah, yeah, that's common.
Okay, there's that one. So yeah, stay away from these kind of people. That's our advice.
Yeah. Hide your
What's
wives,
it
hide
called?
your
So the
kids and your
next one,
husbands. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Far away. Gluttony, number two, sin.
Mm.
Gluttony. The definition here was an excessive and ongoing eating of food or drink, and temperance cures gluttony. Be healthy for the good of others.
Mm.
My thoughts on that were, I am guilty of the gluttony sin. Chocolate, comfort eating,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. But I am, if to excess, it's the chocolate. It's my only weakness. I fear nothing else.
Yeah. So you could keep eating chocolate basically, even if you're full.
I could do this if it was about, if I don't know have any survival training, but if someone told me there was a certain chocolate stash buried, here's a compass, go find, I will find it. And without remorse. I wouldn't ask forgiveness for that. Maybe I'd need forgiveness for not sharing it, but that's a different sin.
Oh, that's the funniest thing I think I've heard all day. um, I think for me, gluttony. Oh, that these days I don't think that's so much of an issue, but I think buffets that's gluttony. Like buffets and brunches, like all you can eat, all you can drink, that is gluttony. Like, why do you need this much
True.
food? You don't need this much food. You don't need this much alcohol. And you see, like, especially if there's
True.
a time frame. Okay, you've got like an hour. People will come with like stacks and stacks and stacks of drinks just so that they can get like their money's worth or what they think their money's worth is in that time. That is gluttony to me. Like it's like, oh, all this food, honestly, all this drink.
Oh my days! I never thought of that. Buffet. When's the last time I went to? It's been a long time.
Mm.
No, nah. Oh, it depends what it is though. When you see people going out repeat after repeat plates and stuff. Gluttony, I don't know how they do it. If it was jollof or agisi and or powdered yam, I could bulldoze an auntie and uncle. It's possible. It's possible. Depends on the hunger. Depends on the hunger.
So
I
depend.
joke.
So.
Elders, don't come for me, please.
Yeah. So.
So what's it called? Sorry, go on.
No, no, no. I was gonna say that's all I know for gluttony, but for me, that's not a like these days when it comes to food. I think maybe the health kick is more. Yeah, like I think I'm thinking more of health. It's like no, I sometimes when I look at food, I'm like, no, this is too much food makes me confused or like sick. almost. Like I don't know where I don't know where to start. There doesn't need to be that much food.
There doesn't need to be, especially. I think it's probably confused. I mean, you can say for yourself, but seriously, the waste that might go
Exactly.
involved. Because to be
Exactly.
honest, you're offered too much of a good thing, and you think it's a good thing, and your mind is saying, "Wetting, why?" Your belly's saying, and your red eye, no. I have here comfort eating, retail therapy, shopping to feel new,
Ooh, retail
or
therapy. Yes,
or to fill
yes,
a void, or
yes.
unhappiness, overconsumption, waste, and gluttony of social media is what I wrote here.
Mm, yes, yes.
I love it when I love it. Alex needs to do her memes so I can use them on social media. I can feel it coming. Bring the wisdom, babe.
My face doesn't lie.
We
um,
give thanks.
Oh yeah, that's true. I could, yeah. But I love the points that you made about shopping. Shopping, I was guilty of this once upon a time. Like just shopping for the sake of shopping. Half the things I actually never wore. And I would,
What?
yeah, half the things I didn't wear. That's why now I only buy things on a need to buy base, like on a need to have basis. That's one.
Mm,
And gluttony of social media. I honestly never thought of it like that. But yes, there is this excessive use of it, and it makes people, it ties into the other sins, like for example, like sloth or
hmm
lust, and
Yeah.
envy as well. So it's all, it starts to tie them all into to each other as well.
I don't. It's so weird because this love and hate relationship that I know you have with social media as well, and I have started on it for a good cause. For it was a kind of a volunteering group for African and African Caribbean empowerment for youth and stuff like that. And no one else wanted to be going on social media all the time. There were different things, so that's how I started
Mm-hmm.
for that on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and things. And it's just and we love sharing. It's so good for sharing.
Yeah.
But that whole kind of need, and I think the metrics system and what you were saying about, okay, good, the need to connect, but the metrics, the staying there. So I'm kind of undoing the gluttony for the last few years and
Mm-hmm.
keeping things manageable.
Yes.
I love sharing things, I love connecting, or sometimes, just put it out there, that's fine. But kind of even unfriending family and friends just to because it's and then acquaintances online because I realize there's only kind of like the 1 to 5% of actively sharing people, which is
Yes.
fine, but then the other voices get lost.
Yes.
So I'm like, if I see you in person, we don't need to be online so much. I want to give others a try, and then I want to take it right back down to as little as possible.
Yes.
Just but I feel that gluttony for social media and the chocolate, it's a guilty sin for me.
Mm.
But it's not all my fault. I won't take it.
No, no, no.
It push.
Society has made us this way. It sold us chocolate and it sold us social media. It's fine.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Pastoress. Absolve me, absolve me. So the next one I've got here is three: greed and avarice, the excessive pursuit of material goods, don't covet, be content, and charity cures helping others. So I think we
Mm,
covered that in the previous one,
a little bit,
the
but
material goods.
yes, but the thing is, this kind of rat race for material wealth. One of my old managers, I think when I was like 18 years old, I'll never forget him. His name was James. He said that money can't buy you happiness, but it can sort out a lot of. Can I swear? Is that fine?
Oh
Can
yes.
I sort? But so money can't buy you happiness, but it can sort out a lot of shit that makes you sad. So that was his motto. And to be fair, it does ring true in life.
It's true.
It is
It's true.
true. It is true. But yeah, if you money's not going to buy you happiness. If you're unhappy now,
Mm,
then even if you have money, it's not going to make you happy. In fact, it might even heighten your sadness because now you've
Yeah,
got so many other issues to add on top, you know. Um,
that's it.
yeah. So greed. Oh my gosh. Well, I always think of, you know, money, but there's other things that people can be greedy. Um, I'm thinking of friendships, this possessiveness, you know,
Oh.
my, or relationships as a whole. People love to say my this,
Mm.
my that, my she's my friend, you know, she's, you know, or I'm, say for example, the two of us, there's somebody mutual between the two of us, and we end up being better friends than I am with that mutual person. It's like, oh, but I knew you first. She's my friend. How dare you? You know, things like that. There is this possessiveness, this almost, or
Ah.
greed, like, okay, I get to have all these friends, but they're my friends, you don't. So there's that as well. Yeah, yeah, there's some I mean,
Wow.
I'm not saying that I deal with this on a day-to-day basis. I can't, mm-mm. But
Mm.
some people do.
I've
Yeah.
experienced that actually. I remember
Mm.
going to, because I realized, someone told me that so many things to learn and unlearn. But I remember someone saying, oh, there's your socializing friends, there's your tight friends,
Mm.
there's your friends for life, and
Mm-hmm.
the whole seasonal thing. And I call them the tourists. And then
Oh.
there's the so-called friends that you don't, that they trash talk. And everyone gossips, but it's the malicious gossip I've never been comfortable with.
Mm.
But you realize, oh wait, you've been to mine, but I've never been to yours. And the person you were trash talking, you go to their
Mm.
celebrations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, weed out that snake,
Yeah,
avoid. Because
yeah.
you see that kind of, it's weird. There's a greed to keep enemies close, but not a greed for love and actual real
Mm.
so-called ride or die friendship, like
Mm.
sustained friendship through the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
You
Some
know.
some
So
people
yeah,
are greedy for toxicity as well. They're
thank
greedy for
you.
drama, greedy for toxicity. And whenever you offer them a
Mm,
solution, they'll never take it because deep down they love that. You know, it's like you never really forgive somebody because you want to hold that over that person's head because that makes you feel better about yourself. So again, people like
mm.
that, that's, I don't deal with that on a day-to-day basis, but people like that exist.
You don't need to. I mean, we're all living and learning and learning hard, but it's. I've just thought of another one actually. When you said that greed of friendship and relationships, I remember. Oh my God, what was it? There was I remember an ex years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and the way there was no. I don't do competition at all, but the jealousy from his mother
Mm.
initially, because he could see that he was loved up
Mm-hmm.
as well and comfortable. And it's like, take time. But there was no need for you to dislike me.
Mm.
We just met, literally just say hello, and you can see, when you can already sense the energy,
Yeah.
and even he sensed it, and you don't know what it's about, but you realize, okay, if there's no reason for you hating, your son, your daughter is going
Yeah.
to love you. The love is extended.
Yeah.
It's not taken away.
It's a
We've
different kind.
just
It's a
met.
different kind of love. Yeah.
It's very, so that greed. I I want all the love for me. You're
Mhm.
mine forever, my
Mhm.
precious.
Mhm.
But it's like it's sad when people are threatened when there is no threat,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they're blind to the threat. So you've just reminded me of, also, you see it with people when there's just like kind of I'm sorry, but even like a flashback to Real Housewives of Atlanta,
Yes.
and it was just like the ones with sense. I can't remember whether it's
There's
Candy
there,
and Todd. It's Candy's
there's not very
mother.
many of them, but that have sense. But okay.
But the shade, baby, the shade. Mm, so good. But I just remember the mother fully jealousing Todd
Todd.
and
Yeah.
Candy's
Yeah. Mama
oh,
Joyce, because she wants
bad
all.
mind for bad mind's sake. Oh,
She wants the daughter to, she wants Candy to herself. She wants all of, Candy's money, and and all of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's hard, and that's something that people. It's ag- again, if you're accountable for your actions, then you are able to assess. Okay, I have these issues with greed or
Mm,
gluttony or whatever, but a lot of people don't. They don't assess these
mm,
issues, so they will go untreated, and it's like having all of these different people in your house, but you don't know that they're in your house because you don't clean it. So there's a room in your house
mm.
and you never clean it up, and these feelings or these seven deadly sins are living there, or maybe a couple of them, because you don't bother to like tap into what's going on with you and say, okay, you know what, I feel this way, why do I feel this way?
And yeah, cleansing the energy within self. People aren't honest with themselves,
Oh,
like fully honest, especially when you don't have external guidance and sit down and real talk. So if you're right, if you're not gonna like clean your own house, cleanse your own energy, or just like don't invite that energy into your home
yeah,
as well. That I love what you said. Greed for toxicity and drama. You're inviting wahala wherever you go, and you're
yeah.
adding your own wahala. My friend, park there. Take several seats. Next one is lust, which you mentioned earlier and touched on. So I don't even fully understand this one myself because I honestly assumed it was only about sexual desire.
Yeah.
But the definition, the meaning here is lust is a strong passion or longing, especially for sexual desires. Flee also youthful lusts, but pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, chastity, and self control.
I think lust is glorified. It is glorified, isn't it? This love is love. What's love? What's love doesn't mean anything. Lust is just glorified. That's what it is that we see all day, every day. It's not
How do
some
you mean in the
just
love?
love. Do I in terms of love or in terms of lust?
I mean, yes, you said lust is glorified, right?
Yes,
But love
and love is
is
told to take the back seat. It's like, oh,
ah
what's love? That yeah, love isn't all that.
got to do with it.
Yeah, what's love got to do with it?
Sorry,
Let's
babe.
lust. No, it's fine. Let's lust over
What?
here.
What's lust got to do?
Yeah,
Got
clearly
to do
everything,
with.
absolutely everything. That's all it is.
It's all that's sold. You're right.
Yeah. Like people are in sexual relationships with people that they don't even like. It's like if I don't like you, why am I doing this? But you have to
Mm.
be real. Like, be honest with yourself. Why am I here? I don't even like you, but it's lust or I don't know. It's one with lots of underlying tones, I suppose.
My chest. I felt that because I don't even for me I cannot comprehend. It's very rare
Mm.
to have a deep connection. So for me, you have to have that connection of the mind or a desire to connect because of the mind or spirit that
Mm-hmm.
that breath, that life force, and then the lust is like it's just like a how do you say, just amplifies
Yeah.
that base connection.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you're just like saying, I got to actually lay down with someone you don't like,
Mm-hmm.
hey,
Or you,
is
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's
it's
it. Mm-hmm. In the name of,
or shallow.
yeah, yeah. Well, yes, shallow too. It is shallow.
It's shallow. So I
It's
put here, what did I put on mine? Yeah, lust can also be a passion of the mind, a desire for the deep connection, as I said, that's rare to find beyond the physical. So a sustainable lust, I guess, is the aim, but with with love.
okay. So to conquer lust, you must love.
Can you conquer? Can you even conquer either? Alex is just throwing cats upon the pigeons now. Let me think. Can you conquer lust? Listen, I don't even have the headspace to even answer that right now.
Yeah, I think that.
People, can you viewers comment below? Can you conquer lust? And if so, how?
That's
in
true.
your experience?
That's true.
Let us know below.
I think it goes back to the whole chastity, being chaste and practicing self discipline is a way of getting rid of it, you know, because probably and like spending time with yourself and no, you, I
Mm.
think if you grow to love yourself, then that will mean you lust others less or if at all.
It's true, because I remember being just consciously being by myself because I lost my virginity at 23.
Mhm.
Raised with family.
Mhm.
Come over here, there's a whole kind of different thing.
Mhm.
It's a family based. You find yourself later on, and then it's like, yeah, you date from that, mid 20s, and then you find that connection,
Mhm.
long-term relationship, and then yeah, you have your time,
Mhm.
find your passion, and all that kind of stuff. And then when you spend time with yourself, I realized the main thing is, that one time where, the how do you say, the heart took over the mind,
Mm.
the lust took over the sense
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a blip. And then you
Yeah.
spend time with yourself, and what it boils down to is like what you said, literally, it's more about company. It's not even about the lust. You want
Yeah,
company.
you want company, and people look for that through sexual acts or affection or things like that. So you're looking for affection or attention or
Mm.
something, and instead of you maybe, and this isn't me judging anybody. This is just observations that I've
No.
seen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you look for it, maybe through the act of sex,
Yeah.
but afterwards you still feel just as bad, maybe even worse than you did before because you didn't get what you wanted.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm honestly, the men and women watching this, or the boys and girls, we'd love to know your thoughts on this, or email us anonymously, and we'll add it onto the social platforms. But it'll be good to know whether, men and women do go through this, because like we were saying earlier, society stuff, if you're driven to men sow your oats, women be chaste,
Mm-hmm.
and but at the same time, maybe the men wanted that company first.
Mm.
They might have wanted to spoon and the intimacy, which I feel can be as can create fireworks, can be as how do you say, can contain its own kind of heat
Mm-hmm.
without having to do the deed. So we'd love to know your comments on that. And in addition to the can lust be conquered
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, so that next one, unless you had anything to add to that.
No.
Alrighty then. Pride. So pride definition: an excessive view of oneself without regard for others.
Oh.
Humility, yeah, humility cures pride by removal of ego and boastfulness. As a Nigerian, the boastfulness side of me, the amount of different uncles I've come across back home in here. But so for me, pride, I really did not know that was the meaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Boastfulness.
just assumed,
I thought. I
I
thought. I
assumed it
thought that
was
was
taking
embedded in.
pride itself.
I thought that was embedded in uncle DNA. You have to be prideful. That's part of their like. That's what makes you an uncle.
from from the boastful mind to the crocodile shoe toe, fully. Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't know the meaning of that until that, because I thought it was about, I always equated pride with heritage and country
Yeah,
and
like a
patriotism.
positive thing. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But oh dear. It is so. Let me say this again: excessive view of oneself without regard for others.
Hmm.
Is that's narcissism, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess maybe over time certain words are taken and changed into something that's slightly more positive. So maybe pride
Yeah,
was the original word, and then later on we developed narcissism, and then
yeah.
different branches like chauvinist, so on and so forth, different divisions of narcissism. um
I love it. Different ranks.
different ranks
Yes.
that people have and that they use, but originally it was pride. But I think now pride is used like in the general day-to-day context. It is something positive, you feel proud of your family, be proud when somebody graduates, proud when someone has a
Mm,
baby. I don't know, these kind of things. It has a positive connotation, but originally
mm,
biblically it was, I would say, the equivalent of. In fact, I don't know if narcissism is the same. I think that's a division of that, because
mm-hmm,
often narcissists are quite insecure. So
mm,
there's this overcompensation, like, oh my gosh, look at me, look at what I'm doing, look at this, look at that, because deep down they're not secure with themselves. So that's why they need this,
mm.
external gratification from others. But
It's just so weird. I thought the only phrase I know in a negative context for pride, the sin
yes.
of pride, is pride before the fall. And I've just realized I
Ah,
actually don't fully know
means I might look that up
what that
actually.
means. Yeah. And anyone
Yeah.
who knows pride before the fall,
Mm,
when you hear that, comment below and share what you think that means, or give an example of a situation or context that might be in. But yeah, pride before the fall came to mind
mm,
just now as well.
yeah.
All right, I had to have a think on that another time. So the another sin, sloth,
Sloth,
which I
yes.
thought was an insect, but I'm
Ye-
realizing that's pure ignorance. That's something else. Moving on swiftly. Excessive laziness
mhm.
and failure to act or use one's talent.
Mhm.
A diligence or zeal. Oh, hold on. Diligence or zealness placing the interest of others above the life of ease and relaxation.
Mm.
Excuse me. Laziness,
I know.
that's not even in my vocab. So this is hard for me to understand.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sloth. I don't know if for me it's I don't think I've ever suffered from that, but I can understand where that would come from. Maybe like for me sometimes if I don't do something it's like a fear of doing it as opposed to being lazy.
Mm,
That's what yeah, it's like fear of failure or something. That's a big thing for me. But um yeah, I know what I think for me, what I understood of it is like,
hmm.
somebody that has all the potential in the world, but they just don't act on it. They're just like, oh no,
Ah,
no, I'd rather not. Or just you can clearly see that they have all of these qualities in them and they know that they have these qualities as well. Because I think it's different if you don't know personally, but you have these talents and then you're like intentionally not acting on them. You rather just,
mm,
you know, be subpar than as
mm.
opposed to walking into your greatness.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe the walking into the greatness, the path is blocked by
Mm,
external.
mm-hmm.
I just sometimes that whole kind of peer pressure,
Yeah,
parental pressure,
yeah,
societal pressure,
yeah.
or formative years.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm,
that kind of like inherited trauma,
yeah.
and it's not even their fault that they can't move. You see it so much in. I'm sure there's some who could give it a chance. Everyone's different. You're wired differently.
Mm-hmm.
I feel there's a lot to be said for people who they want to do it, but the burden of external pressures. Because you and I are just like natural born go-getters,
Mm-hmm.
and I thank my ancestors and the kind of Niger go-getting spirit.
Yeah.
The Ghanaians have got a next level go-getting spirit, but I like all of that built in. But I feel for people who, if they didn't get that spark of encouragement
Mm-hmm.
from a certain point and they give up because they're not
Yeah. But
encouraged more.
that to me is different. That's different. Like that's almost
Ah,
you not knowing. So I think it's a difference between those people probably have like imposter syndrome in the sense of they don't really know their full potential, their full worth. It's hard for you to step into who you're designed to be or you're destined to be if you don't know all the qualities that you have. And that, like you said, is to do with external factors. Unfortunately, the way that a lot of people were brought up, kind of shut things down, shut down people's creativity, shut down them thinking outside of the box and being critical thinkers and all of that kind of thing. But what I'm saying is that this person knows clearly that, you know, the life that they are living is subpar. Deep down, they know this. Even they don't even like this
Mm,
life that they're living. And they know that they
mm,
need to do X, Y, and Z in order for them to elevate themselves and do the work. But they choose not to do X, Y, and Z. I'm just not going to do it. Like, no.
mm.
So that to me is
I,
that's sloth.
No, I hear that. I hear that. Actually, what came? I'm trying to find what I wrote down. It came to mind. There was, there's a couple of lyrics that came to mind. You know, a lot of people like they talk about it, but they're never gonna do shit. They just want to talk about it and put it
Okay.
out in there,
Yeah.
but don't want to follow through.
Yeah.
And then there's one from Yazin Bey said, a lot of us are raised to talk fast but think slow,
Mm.
and that's when I thought of laziness. That's what we, we all you all talk fast, but you all think slow.
Mm.
I most definitely not think so. And
Mm.
I've always held on to that, and it's just like, damn,
It
man.
would be most deaf to come up with that bar, but okay. It would be him, yeah.
All right, so the last one I have here is Roth. Roth,
Mm.
Roth,
Is it
Tim
Wrath?
Roth,
Wrath.
Wrath,
Wrath.
the Wrath.
WRATH. Wrath.
I like the way you said it because you said it with your chest. The
Oh,
Wrath of
Wrath.
God.
The wrath of God, yeah.
Wrath. There you go. So the definition, the meanings here is a strong anger and hate towards another person. Oh gosh.
Mm.
Not my spirit, but anyway, beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God. Vengeance is mine, I shall repay, says the Lord. So my takeaway from that is, I thought there are some people who deserve insults and apologies at the same time, like fully. Yeah, let me not say any more on that. But I I think I don't like the feeling of anger. I
Mm-hmm.
felt it, but the thing is, overall, the overwhelming one is I'm more angry at myself
At how
for
you
not
react,
seeing
yeah.
some people,
Mm.
for who they are, despite me being told by those close to them how they stay. They're bad mind, they're smiling in your face, but they mean you harm,
Mm-hmm.
or they're smiling in your face and they're just collecting, waiting for what? When
Mm.
they've only been shown love, but they
Yeah.
actually just harbor.
Yeah.
And so my thing is that this whole wrath business doesn't suit my spirit, my
Mm-hmm.
default setting.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be holding on to that. So my revenge, if there's any revenge, my revenge will come as, like, how do you say that? I'll just wait for their true nature to catch up with them and
Okay.
let them fall that way.
Yeah.
If I have to, I think I'm more angry with myself for just allowing those kind of people, blood and not, you know, you have a sense of it,
Yeah.
but they're all there doing so like that. But what do you take away from the wrath and anger?
When I thought of wrath, I thought of the saying, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned." Um,
Ah,
I did think of that, and again, it's like commonly used, but it's not for you to, like, avenge anybody on your own. It's like, okay, you know what, God's gonna deal with you. It's fine. Let me move on.
mm,
But a lot of the time, when I think of people that are the most angry or the most quote unquote scorned, it tends to be like people that have been hurt from relationships, any kind. Could have been a friendship, could have been, you know, platonic relationship, and those kind of relationships. Something negative has happened, or something you feel like you've been done some, you feel like you've been done wrong, and then you
yes.
want to avenge the wrong that you felt that somebody did to you. Um, I can't I can't say that I've wished bad on somebody because they did me wrong. I'm more like the same route as you. You know what? Like, people see who you are. I'm just gonna remove myself from the equation. That's what I do. Okay, you carry on being
Exactly.
you. I'm just gonna remove myself because it's not worth it to myself. Ultimately, you know, even if I was to sit here and plot revenge, as your I would say, what, like, why? why am I doing this? What am I going to get from this?
Exactly.
It's actually silly, and 9 times out of 10 you'll find that you don't get anything better, like anything beneficial out of it. Although I did see a thread on Twitter that I thought I'd quickly share with you. So
Okay.
basically, it was a story. I don't know if it's real or not, but this lady was married to her husband, and her husband decided to leave her for his secretary. And you know, obviously she wanted the marriage to work, but it didn't. He said that, you know, he was going to give her 3 days to pack up her stuff and move out of the house because his new
Eh,
mistress, yep, his new mistress, wanted to stay in that home. So she said, okay, fine. On the
hmm.
first day, I think she was upset. The second day, you know, I think she put on her thinking cap. On the third day, she ordered lots of caviar and shrimp. And as she was eating the, you know, the caviar and shrimp, what she decided to do was to go to all of the house, or all of the rooms in the house, and you see the curtain rod. She unscrewed the curtain rod and she put
No,
caviar and the shrimp inside the curtain rod, and then she put
no.
the knob back. So then, you know, after that she packed up her stuff, she moved, went out, and then the 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 ex-husband and his new woman, they were like, what is this smell? They fumigated the house time and time again. They just changed the carpet, changed everything. Obviously nobody's gonna
Oh,
think to check the curtain rods. So she really,
yes.
yeah, she really peppered them, like. So
Hey, salt pepper.
she called to check like how the husband was doing, how the ex-husband was doing, and he said, you know, oh my gosh, this house is like, he said that things aren't doing so well. So they tried to sell the house. Nobody would sell the house. Like nobody wanted to buy the house because of the stench. So she said, "I will buy. You know, I miss living in the home. I will buy the house off of you." So he thought he got one up on her because he was selling it like better than what other people were willing to pay for it. So she was like, yeah. So she ended up buying the house back at half the price. So moving day,
Excellent.
she's getting ready to move in, and she watches them move out with absolutely everything, including their rod.
Yeah. Wait. Quality, quality. Why not? I like that. I
So
like that.
I,
You know, that's cold blooded actually
yeah.
on different level. But it was cold. It was more cold blooded what the husband did.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
3 days. Okay, let's pretend that it was a happy marriage
Yeah.
beforehand or something, but not to whatever the story. Let me not even give it back. But sorry, let's get back to the point
Okay,
that that
sorry.
was beautiful justice. Beautiful justice for
Yeah.
me. That's
Yeah.
justice.
Yeah.
Good. Why are people like this? Ah,
I don't know. I don't know.
amazing to me. So what's it called? So that's my 7 sins, people. Join the conversation and please also add hashtag AWAF for Alex. I always get this wrong. Pele, advice with Alex and friends. And
Yes.
in fact, she's better at doing this. So she's gonna share all her socials and how you can connect with her.
Yes. So you can follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Advice with Alex on both of those platforms. You can watch on YouTube. So again, the platform is Advice with Alex and Friends on there. And also you can listen on Spotify and Apple, so Apple Podcasts. And if you're in America, you can listen